Hi there, and welcome back to the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast. I'm Ryan Bird, joined as always by the founder of the Junior Golf Hub, Roger Nick. And Roger, what a special podcast we have planned today. The cat is out of the bag, so to speak, Roger, and junior golfers around the country and world, for that matter, are starting to be invited into the PDI worldwide event that is that's obviously going to change junior golf in a big way. Certainly, when you think about what this does, PDI has long been your vision, has long been your thought that there is a better way of development, a better way of predicting growth, and now we're going to take that to the next level, Roger, as we're going to have basically a worldwide tournament of PDI scores with 8 exemptions to the World Championship on Golf Channel. So first, before we welcome in our guest, Roger, why don't you just, I said a lot there. This has been a vision of yours for so long. As this, the formal announcement, how special is this day?
It's pretty special, Ryan. Almost emotionally special, right? So, I mean, to see this come to fruition, and obviously we've got a great team behind all of this, with Eric Allen, our chief product officer, who's kind of led the charge here for us and getting this to this point. And obviously on your side of it with Dan, these guys and his team, really fielding all the calls. I mean, listen, you guys are the ones that are the special on the front lines here. We're just kind of making this stuff up, right? So,
well, not really the case. So, before we get to our guests, I will give you a brief summarization of how this is going to work. All junior golf families, you will be receiving basically an invitation email in which you can take the self-assessment of PDI. We've done it. Takes 45 minutes or so at your range. Very easy to put in your score. jgnc.org will have a worldwide leaderboard for both boys and girls, and obviously every age division. And long and short of it, there will be 8 PDI winners from each division that, regardless of how they played in their NB3 regional, will go to the Nota Begay III Junior Golf National Championship on Golf Channel because they won the PDI top score around the world. So that's a little nugget of what's happening. I do want to welcome in, as you said, the managing product officer for PDI, Eric Allen, and from the Nota Begay Junior Golf National Championship, the managing director, Dan Crowther. So between these two, they've kind of joined forces here to be able to offer PDI to everyone that plays the Nota Begay on the free app. That app will obviously get them all the way to the championship should they be able to have the top score in each division. So, Dan, I'll just start with you as players and families are starting to receive the invitation. What is the order that the players will receive this self-assessment app? How will they receive it? What should they be looking for to be able to take the first step, which is go and do the self-assessment?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Roger. It's great to see you again. We've known each other a long time, and I give your team and yourself a lot of kudos for all you do in junior golf and growing the game and just being ahead of everything for these players to get them to reach their goals. So it's awesome to be working with you and obviously Ryan and Eric. To address Ryan's question, I mean, it's pretty easy, Ryan. We kicked off Monday, and we've had some really good feedback, and we'll get into that maybe a little bit later if you ask me those questions. But we introduced to our active participants, and then our participants that aren't so active yet but are in our database, and we've let them know about this. And then right after our email goes out, Eric's team has sent a follow-up email basically telling them how to download the app and get the analysis for free on the app as well. And then our players are going to be receiving phone calls and personal, meetings to discuss this. They're writing into us. They're, calling into us. We have a full office here of 6 people that man the phones and work, all of our events, and they're all teed up and ready to go with questions and how to get everybody signed up.
Eric, obviously this is a massive, massive endeavor. PDI was not invented last week or last year. This has been going on, been developing. What's so interesting about it, which I'd like you to discuss a little bit, is colleges have been very active in bringing PDI in for their players as a tool. Now this goes to junior golf, which is kind of the perfect culmination of junior golfers that want to play college golf, yet college coaches are using PDI. What an incredible marriage. Kind of give me just your thoughts from the beginning of where PDI was to where it is today, and how ultimately we think this could change junior golf.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It is super exciting, and the college coaches have been so enthusiastic and receptive to it because they're looking for ways to get a better assessment of the potential and the progress that junior golfers are making as they evaluate them for recruiting. So for them to use it with their own college players gives them a really good understanding of how it works, what it's revealing, how they could leverage that in sort of following along with the junior golfers' progression, right? And it opens up a conversation about the things that they're working on and what they're improving on, and being very real about your strengths and opportunities, and that you're applying yourself to that improvement. That's what PDI is all about. It's a consistent, objective assessment that shows you your progress on those leading indicators of your golf game, not focused on the lagging indicators of the stats and the tournament performance. This is enabling you to improve that tournament performance. So where we've seen this come from in terms of an assessment that has a value to being valued by our target audiences of the college golf coaches and the junior golfers and their parents, to have this sort of common language of leading indicators and their importance of it's just so gratifying that we're at this point, and that we're partnering on something where we share this mission to empower junior golfers to take control of their development and let it lead to something amazing, like being on the Golf Channel playing for college golf coaches in a national tournament. It's just awesome.
Roger, if the four of us go and play golf, we all know you're going to win. There's really very little doubt. Now, obviously, a crazy anomaly could happen, and Dan could have his best day ever. But
I don't know. I've seen Dan play. He's got some game.
But for the most part, if the four of us go play, you're probably going to win 100 out of 100. The same can be said in some circles for age groups in junior golf. My question is, if the four of us did PDI, is it an automatic that even though you're the best player at this moment, that you would have the highest PDI score of the four of us?
Wow, that's a loaded question. No, Ryan, actually, it would not be an automatic, right? I mean, who knows? Eric just started playing golf 6 months ago, but yet he's still able to hang with us from a game perspective, right? So he can actually go out and score 74, where you're shooting 72 and Dan's shooting 71 and I'm shooting 69, right? So he's actually way ahead of the curve when it comes to his learning the game perspective. So that doesn't necessarily show up. So he's not the worst golfer in the group. He actually might even, in fact, be the best golfer in the group given time. And I think that's one of the real beauties of why this was created and why I created this many years ago, to show talented young players to understand that development takes time. It's many, many, many levels of development when it comes to golf, because it's not just the golf skill development. It's not just getting the ball in the hole. It's so many other aspects of it. Learning, mindset, strategy, physical growth, all of those other components that go into it. As they would say, I think Anders Ericsson had mentioned, the 20,000 hour rule, right? Or 10,000 hour rule. So and he, noted that golf was one of those sports that it could take years, right? Because there's so much information. You're never playing the same shot twice, unlike many sports where you've got the common, field, or the basketball court, or the baseball diamond. It's all the same. Golf is a, different playing field every single day, different conditions. So there's so much to be learned. So In fact, Eric might be the best player of the four of us.
Yeah, that is. I think that's what makes this so unique. Is if you aren't winning, or you don't think you can beat so and so at your NB3 regional, uh, you might just be a late bloomer. You may have gotten a later start than Johnny, who wins every event. And the reality might be, and this is why college coaches are so enthusiastic about PDI, is ultimately the PDI score could show that your son or daughter might actually be, in the long run, the better player. And we think that is why everyone doing the PDI self-assessment, going on the worldwide leaderboard, is so important. Dan, I know this literally just came out of the box on Christmas morning, but you've had a chance to share it with a limited audience. What has the reaction in the NB3 world been to this, these 8 exemptions to go play on Golf Channel via PDI?
Yeah, so it's been really exciting for these people. I mean, they can't believe it, really. They're excited. They're wondering, what do I have to do? We tell them what it is all about, and they're saying, this is a no-brainer. I mean, I need to know about this. I need to do this. And, they're signing up. I mean, we have those 6 certified PGI events. Those are where coaches are going to come out, Eric's team. And we've talked to the people in Kansas that have booked already. And, we've booked 20 assessments, and people are calling in, so it's going really, really well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there hasn't been any negative at all. It's been so positive. It's just great to be able to announce this.
Eric, I'll ask you, as the focus, obviously, at the college convention was college coaches, and as teams and college coaches and the players on those college teams begin to get a PDI score, how comparable is the PDI score that the junior player will be getting compared to the PDI score that a college player gets? And what I'm getting at is, if Brendan Valdez, who just went back to #1 on PGA Tour U with his win at Auburn, if his PDI score is X and a junior golfer's score is X, are those comparable?
Yeah, they definitely are. And it could be accomplished through different leading indicators of your golf game. It could have been strong and physical and less as talented in some of the golf skills, or vice versa. So there's so many ways to win at golf, but to be a champion, you're going to have to develop all those ways. So best to get a baseline and start working and see how close you can get to each of the components of your goals. So I think some of the exciting things that we have ahead from a college comparison standpoint is revealing more info about how golfers at the college that you're interested in going to, how those golfers did on PDI recently and what's been their progression. How are you tracking along with that progression? So it all starts now. It all starts with getting a baseline self-assessment, see where you're at. I think one of the exciting things, Ryan, about it that people are going to discover is that in the app, they're going to have access to level-specific drills and challenges to help them develop their game based on where they're at.
Roger, what's the college coach reaction been, as far as now that they've seen it, learned it, their players have done it? How do you think they will feel about all these players junior players having a PDI score? Can you see this becoming a massive part of recruiting?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is going to be probably the starting point eventually for a lot of these coaches, because again, back to what you've already touched on, is that you're seeing or Eric just touched on this, the leading indicators, right? So you might have a young golfer who is developing and they have some good scores in their profile, if you will, on the Junior Golf Hub, yet they may not have the great scores. Maybe they haven't won the tournaments yet. I mean, it's that kid who's still developing. And I think when college coaches are seeing this now, they're starting to look at the window of development and not just look at rankings as, hey, this is the finished product. No, I can actually now start to see this window into development for these young players that fit my team makeup. I mean, the coaches that I'm talking to right now are just going, I have a really good indicator of what's going to be important to my team as they come. When I'm looking at recruits, it's not just looking at a score and it's not just looking at a ranking. It's now looking at an individual assets, if you will, of going, where are the strengths and weaknesses, And that will also then determine what lineup may be at certain golf courses. So if I've got a bombing golf course, and I got my most athletic team out there, or if I've got a short course and I know my team is really strong and my recruits are really strong with their short game, well, guess what? Who's got the advantage when they know how to put their team out there, right? So there's all kinds of things that are happening now, and talking to coaches that are starting to look at this as just more than just a tool. It is a bigger tool in the toolbox for them to say, I can actually set up a lineup around my players, and I can do qualifying around this based on the golf course that we're going to play.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Dan, you mentioned Kansas. That is one of the 6 chosen PDI tournament sites. Give us a little indication of how that's going to work. You mentioned you already have 20 players, and obviously the event is months away from now, but you already have 20 players that are going to take part in the PDI portion of that. I assume they're also going to play the 36-hole regional. Just give us a little idea of the 6 events and how that is all going to unfold.
Yep. So the 6 events are in different parts of the country. It's Southern Texas, Kansas, Connecticut, state of Washington, Arizona, and Florida. Those are the events that the coaches are going to come out to. The way a player gets to meet with those coaches and do the self-assessment, which you mentioned is like 45 minutes, is that we're going to tie it to the practice round. So the day before, let's say it's a weekend, it's the 36-hole regional. They're playing in the regional. They're going to schedule their practice round with us. And when they schedule their practice round with us, that's when we tell them about the PDI assessment on site. And that's what's been going really well, where they book their practice round and we book their PDI assessment. And then they show up and Eric's team is there.
Wow. That's Roger. That's
pretty efficient. That's pretty efficient. Geez. That's how you're supposed to get it done.
And what's going to happen is that the golfers are going to go through stations. As they experience the self-assessment, they'll see what these stations are. They are a physical station where you get a chance to see kind of indications of your physical capability for your golf game, a few assessments, and then you move on to chipping and putting and driving, etc. So there'd be stations that they go to, and we'll move them through, and we'll get everybody through as efficiently as possible.
Now, I have a question. Question for you. Eric, I know from the product side of it, one of the questions that we've gotten before is like, my kid's coming to do PDI and it's before a tournament. And Dan, you've seen this, and Ryan, you guys have seen this. Is that going to affect or negatively affect my participation in the event itself? Because that's important too, right? How does that affect me as far as a player is concerned, or as a parent? Am I concerned that my kid's going to do something that's going to maybe negatively affect their preparation for a tournament?
I think it can function as a good part of your warm-up and getting focused and dialing in on your skills. You always have to have an appreciation that you're on a growth path and a journey. So you should take it as an assessment that's going to help you in the long term. But the activities that you do are not that exhausting or anything like that that's going to ruin your day or add to your practice round in some crazy way, because you're taking 39 different golf shots with some warm-ups for those. Some of that's chipping, some of that's putting, and then the 4 physical screens, they're not that intense that you're going to be that tired from it. It's like a leg raise, a broad jump, a deep squat. So not too bad.
I'd go one step further with that every single kid will do a 45-minute range session for sure. How much better is this if you go over to the putting green and you're going to hit a putt that actually has something on it, meaning competition, as opposed to how many times have we seen and talked about it on this podcast that it appears sometimes that a player is not even in a different planet as they sit there and hit 75 practice putts and have no idea really what's going on. So I actually believe the opposite. I think that to be able to just have a normal, 45-minute warm up on the range, but with shots that have something attached to it, would be a great precursor to the tournament the following day. So I think it's a massive advantage for any player that gets to do the PDI competition the day before. They're going to spend 45 minutes doing the same tasks, Why not have them count for something? Why not put an exemption to the World Championship on Golf Channel on it? That just sounds awesome. Hey, Dan,
Well,
what
it
happens
sounds like Ryan. I mean, it's the intentful practice, right? We just had this conversation the other day, and it is. And now a lot of the players that we've had, some of the best players that we've had, they use this as their prep. I mean, we have one particular young lady who's using this at every major, or actually all of our tournaments. After we got done with her at Stanford, I mean, it was very clear that she had this. It was high value to her to go prep her day before the event, right? So she uses quite often, right? So I think, and we're seeing more and more of our high-end players using this as a very intentful, warm up to go out and play. So so don't worry, parents, this is a good thing.
And Dan, I already know the questions coming in. What if the same person wins the tournament that wins the PDI part of the exemption? Is there a plan in place? Obviously they don't need 2 spots at Kashada.
The person who wins the divisional exemption from the best PDI index score, we'll take them. And then if they won the regional, then the alternate behind that same player that won the PDI will get the spot. So it's a good thing. And that's the plan moving forward.
Let's get some house cleaning out of the way. Is this a PDI or a NB3 question for families? If I haven't received my PDI invitation for the self-assessment, who do we contact here? Is that an NB3 or is that a PDI contact?
Yeah, so we're pushing into the NB3, and they can go on our website, write us to our info account, which we get, a lot of them a day. And then obviously they have our phone number on the contact us as well. And we're all versed to help them out.
Perfect. That's good news for you, Eric.
We've got our hands full with other things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, Roger, getting back to where we began, this is, why don't you just give for the folks at home, this is moving so quickly, as colleges and college coaches endorse this around the country, as college players are taking part of this. Where did it start, and why ultimately did you think there was a need for this in the game of golf?
Well, I mean, that's a big question, but I'll try to answer it. It really started with, understanding that there were more, pieces to the game of golf, than a golf score, right? So I came to golf a little bit later in my life, as an athlete from another sport, and thinking golf was going to be very easy. And what I didn't realize is how difficult it was, right? But that being said, you see a lot of junior golfers and you see a lot of players struggling with understanding, how do I get recognized as a player, right? I'm kind of fast forward here because I don't want to bore the audience with this whole thing, right? But the reality is that, in the Northeast, I started a golf academy, and I started seeing our players getting frustrated and hearing questions from all over the country of going, how do I get recognized? How do I know that I'm good enough? What do I need to do to get recruited? All of these questions were a big part of why we created Junior Golf Hub, but it was also why I'd already created, the player development assessments, right? So to assess players and understand where you are, and so we can develop a plan to help you reach your goals, right? So and the score came basically because we wanted to see the differentiation between a player or 5 players, right? So if a college coach is recruiting players and he has a player, let's say that they're all shooting 74s. Well, how did they get to 74, right? Which one is maybe tapped out talent-wise, and which one is actually just developing and maybe a late bloomer talent-wise, or score-wise, meaning that maybe they don't have a lot of tournament experiences, right? So, and we saw that a lot. So that was a big part of why I wanted to kind of push this out to more players and more parents and then college coaches, and saying, how do we help you recognize more talent that's out there than you can ever imagine in this landscape? And right now, golf is so hot. It is so much talent out there that we just can't find. They can't go out and see enough of it, right?
Right.
So let's figure out a way that we can actually make something very simple that now college coaches have access to players all over the world, and it's on an equal playing field. It's the same assessment for no matter where you are, say, hey, I have this talent. And by the way, if I had more time to play in tournaments, I'll figure out how to score. That's
Sure.
just a byproduct, right, of having, being a talented, skillful golfer, right? So that was the impetus, right? For me to get the PDI score out there, right? It's like, how do I create a differentiator for the college coach and the athlete to say, I am different. I do have potential. And as a parent, it's going, wow, my son, I can see what's going on here. And if he's in a planned or purposeful planned, program, he's going to continue to improve, or she's going to continue to improve to a point where it's not going to be, it's hard to say no to that, right? It's not going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to get recruited, but boy, if you want to go play college golf, or you want to play golf at the highest level, you got to start with what the vision is, and then what is the strategy to get there, and then what's the plan to get there. And this really just solidifies, or at least supports the plan, right? So this tells you you're on track. This gives you good indicators that you're on track of that. So
Well,
that was why I created it, Ryan.
yeah. And we're all thankful for that. Last couple things here. Already thinking of questions that will exist. So as players begin to take this self-assessment, Dan and Eric, did they have to submit their self-assessment score to go onto the worldwide leaderboard at jgnc.org, or is there a submit button on the app, Eric?
There is no need to do anything other than complete the assessment, because we have registered the NB3 participants as part of that organization. And so the score, that self-assessment score, will automatically show up on the leaderboard.
Wow. And Dan, that is, as players can take this the self-assessment as many times as they want. They actually can make it part of their daily routine to watch their scores, PDI score, improve based on practice and practicing the right things. How much fun is this to be able to bring all parts of the world on one leaderboard on a golf course, so to speak, that is the same for everyone? I mean, normally there are different conditions based on geographics and climate and wind, et cetera. Now everyone's on the same playing field. How excited will it be for everyone to be able to just go to JGNC and see where they're at on the leaderboard?
Yeah, it's awesome, Ryan. We put a lot of work into it, and it's going to be a great, test for everybody. And you're able to hop on the website at any point and see where you are in each division. So, we can't wait to get some scores on there.
Yeah.
And I've got a question for you. So maybe your parents have the same question: is how often can I do the self-assessment, and what does it count if I do it multiple times? How does it work?
Yeah, if you want to take that question, I mean, the answer is they can do it as many times as they want to improve their score, pretty much, which is great, because they can improve their score. And when they get on the app, they can get an analysis and, what do we need to do to get better?
And this is all free for them.
Yeah.
So the app, Eric, would work every day. If a player wanted to take those 45 minutes every single day, the app will regenerate and erase their former score with their new score?
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. And certainly we really look forward to, especially as the weather starts to warm up here in March into April. It's going to be fun to be able to watch that competition, knowing what's at stake. Ultimately, we'll have 8 players that will play at the championship on Golf Channel based on their PDI score. Roger.
I want to be a kid. I want to be a kid again. I mean, come on, this is incredible.
It is. It's going to be
TV, just going through this assessment.
Yeah, I mean, it's groundbreaking for sure. In my opinion, it does change the landscape of junior golf. So we are so thrilled to merge these two great products together and offer an opportunity that junior golf has never seen before. So a lot of information on this podcast, certainly a lot to look forward to. Again, if that email invitation does not appear, simply go to jgnc.org, the info page there, and you can request your invitation to take part in this worldwide competition where 8 players ultimately, again, it's not necessarily the best golfer. PDI ultimately is designed to show who the best golfer is with the most upside, the most potential even down the road. So exciting for players of all different levels according to golf score you might find out that you have much more upside and could be a much better player than someone that beats you in the junior game as you're a young player. So much to be excited about. Eric and Dan, we thank you guys for coming on the podcast. We know that you both have been loyal watchers and listeners, and now you're forever part of the alumni of the Hub of Junior Golf podcast. I'm sure this is one, Dan, you want to check off the list.
I definitely have that on my bucket list.
This is going on my resume and LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right,
that
have a
will
good
do
one.
it again. A lot of information there, and jgnc.org is the best way to get more information if you need the more information to make sure your son or daughter takes part in this worldwide competition. So for Dan, for Eric, of course, for Roger, for our director and producer, Michael Nick, I'm Ryan Burr saying until next time, we'll see you real soon on the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast.